Getting away from what I was doing, what I was attached to, helped me free myself from certain things. It's an ongoing process. Waking up is an ongoing process. Letting go of certain addictions, certain obsessions, certain worldviews is a ongoing process. There is no asleep and wake up. There may be clear distinctions between someone that's completely asleep and someone that's aware of a few political realities, but waking up is an ongoing process. So I advise everyone that's stuck in a phase where they're addicted to fears or addicted to technology or they're suffering economically to take time outside of their normal environment, whether it's going off the grid or even going to another city, but just simply traveling. Now this is not something new. There are all these books written about it, but there aren't very many books talking about that in relation to all that we're becoming aware of. You know, books, knowledge being presented to those that have become totally afraid of total annihilation and damnation. For thousands of years, man has migrated around the planet with nothing but a knapsack over his back or her back. People leaving their tribe, people leaving the armies of death, people leaving their nation, people leaving their community, because they understand this oneness concept, that there are other humans across the land that also may be interesting. There may be interesting men or women or other things to interact with beyond the border, an arbitrary reality, whether it's the border to your state or the border to your nation. And I saw very clearly how people were real quick to judge people on the other side of the border, the other state. Yet they're fucking Americans. They're Americans. Who are you to be an Oregonian looking down at a Texan? Fuck you. Who are you to be a Texan looking down on an Oregonian? Fuck you too. You both have value. You both have something to say. You both live in amazing states. The world is a beautiful place. Humans, however, can tend to fuck it up. Don't blame it on the city. Don't blame it on the state. You don't even really have to blame the humans and develop some sort of archonic, I hate humans, must destroy the humans, must destroy the humans. No, you don't have to do that. But it's the thinking, it's the energy. We don't need to get frustrated with men. We don't need to get frustrated or angry or blame women. But I do advocate getting frustrated to a point. Just got to move it into inaction. Action, effective action, counteraction. It is okay for us to have issues with the mind control, with the programming, with the evil spirits that are trying to suppress us from being what we actually are. Everybody should be asking themselves, what are they trying to do long term? Why would they want to suppress human consciousness? Why would they want to manipulate our free will? What is it about our power? What is it about our consciousness? What is it about our free will? That they, whoever they are, feel that they have to manipulate things in such a way to where we are not conscious, to bombard our energies with poisons, with mind control, with manufactured disasters that create panic, fear, and terror. If this is such a sophisticated system that is hell-bent on altering human consciousness, what is so powerful about human consciousness that is threatening to they, them, whatever is out there? Why do we in this society still have a problem with looking at the true nature of evil, looking at the eye of Sauron, if you will, the archonic agenda, when we have so many religions and ancient texts that talk about this eternal battle of good and evil? After all we've seen and after all we've been warned from the seers and the prophets and the spiritual teachers of the past about the route that humanity has been on for some time, the dangers of being an unconscious society, Why do we not listen closer at the spiritual teachings that were given to us thousands of years ago? Why do so many still remain to be trapped in the digital box of perception, waking up every day to say, we are so screwed? It's really not until you go out and you start going through the trials and errors of seeing how you're manifesting reality, the good and the bad. It's almost as if people that are domesticated and live in these dense population centers, that the sight gets clouded. There's so many signals going on. There's so many competing pieces of information, sensation, positive and negative. There's so many things that get attached to. There's so many things that get turned off by. So we're constantly getting attracted and turned off, attracted and turned off. Our energies are going back and forth. We are not centered. The majority of those living in urban environments are not centered. There are some that are centered. There are some that are doing good things. And there are good people that need to be in the cities reminding us as to what it actually means to be a human being. Not a robot, not a sex worker, not a soldier of fortune. See, people have the right to do what they want to do. But then they've got to inherit what they created. So if we're just going to be a lust-filled society, where we don't care about the reality that young women are waking up in, where there's no real jobs for them to do, just the classic work that's been around since the dawn of time, prostitution and dancing on a fucking table so she can eat a meal at night. So maybe she can, get her child some new shoes, her child who's 5 years old, whose daddy left years earlier. Mama's got to go out and shake a booty, got to take care of that 5-year-old. It is so shocking and traumatizing to me as a man to live and grow up in a society where women don't seem to care about the realities of other women. I'm going to talk about this more in the next year. I'm going to try to use, not get so emotional, upset when I do. It creates a bad pool, a whirlpool. Think of sinking. If everybody says it's always been this way, to kind of avoid looking at what's really going on to society because it bothers them emotionally, all it does is throw another brick in the hole on top of the bodies that are being buried, on top of the body of humanity. All it does is shovel another scoopful of dirt, burying humanity, the true, beautiful woman that exists. Women have a sense of beauty and sexuality that is so attractive. When they're loving mothers, when they're standing by good men in society, that is so sexy. It brings out just, there's something about a woman's sexiness that is not her body, that is in her aura. I stopped becoming attracted to a lot of women. No, I am not attracted to men. I'm talking about being a man where you want to fuck. Oh, look at that ass. I just want to I'm just animal, monkey, whoop, whoop, whoop mode. Years ago, it's like, oh, her aura is off. There's just some entities flying around that dragon lady. And it's like, without even knowing them, just feeling just the, just emanating from the field. Human society has produced a lot of that. It is very, very unattractive. It does not matter how you dye your hair, how you cut your hair, how you stripe your hair, how you shake that booty. It is not about the skull and crossbone design on your panties. It's not about your pierced tongue, so we can think about getting a little extra stimulation as you give fellatio. It's not about you being a sex worker or a sex slave. To be liberated in your sexuality or in what makes you attractive, a woman is a very loving woman. She cares about the feminine. And she's not going to stand with the patriarchal system for her own protection. So she's not bothered by the destruction all around her. A sexy woman is fearless, like in the last movie of Lord of the Rings that picks up the sword and slays the dragon. As men and women, we have incarnated into this physical realm and there's different views on incarnation. I think that people that describe this world as a very enlightened world aren't very aware of the totality of this life experience. Earth is somewhat of a hellish domain that we're trying to evolve out of. It doesn't mean that there aren't spiritual things taking place here, and fairy type of energies and goddess type of energies like the planet itself, or the true divine nature of a woman, or the true protective masculine nature in a man, that beautiful earth energy. But we're in a realm where we have fallen. We may have this consciousness, but we can really only change the world through doing good things. We can't just elect someone to fix it. We all just can't follow a certain religion. And Big Daddy Jehovah, Big Daddy Yahweh, Big Daddy Abrahamic God of the old world religions is going to come down and fucking save our ass. Or take us to take us to the heavenly mansion, the heavenly crib up above where we raise the roof, y'all. It doesn't really work that way. Until we start evolving beyond what we are, we're going to continue to be in these types of realms. The solution is to be a good person. The solution is to do good works, is to do good deeds, to continue to be able to work to hear that voice inside, and to work to get that bullshit detector up. That you got to be able to crank that up when you're like, that is foul. You may want to go ahead and put out that information that all these things are about to happen next week. And even though you talk about how you believe these things are going to happen next week, you're not going to live off the grid. You're going to stay in your dense population center city. You're going to stay on Facebook where they can trace your IP. And you're just going to keep saying we are so screwed. And all you're going to talk about is Berkey water filters and food storage. You won't try to develop community. You got to learn to get away. First, you put the mask on so you don't breathe in fluid with the poison. And then get out and step away and go, we all have a right to believe as we want, agree to disagree. If you start saying that the New World Order is going to have full control over your life, your water supply, whether or not you can harvest rainwater, if you start giving them that power, you are putting them at creator level. That is the most unmindful thing that you can do. So in the last 2 minutes, I got to bring this home as to what this is all about in this early morning video where I'm trying to inspire some of you. To me, being on earth is about becoming a true human being. You may see it as becoming a real man or a real woman, but it's really about being a full functioning human being, being able to feel things. You know, that's one of the reasons why I've struggled with smoking too much. I'm capable of feeling so much that I jump in, intervene, and I shut it down. Shut it down! Shut it down! Well, I'm 5 weeks without smoking, and I'm feeling all types of things, and I'm allowing myself to feel all types of things, but I am remaining in the driver's seat, and I am pondering the lessons that I learned in the desert. And now that I'm back in the grid, I guess you could say, even though it's a town of 5,000, I'm back in society. I'm not going to let that take me back to the same type of worldview that I had when I spent a lifetime living in the city. I remind myself moment to moment, I am responsible for my own feelings. I need to be responsible for getting something done. As I try to get my mind back in the mode of creating a lot of alternative media, which I'll be doing this winter, you know, and visualizing that, reaching the people that it needs to reach, and having a connection, a deeper, you can even say spiritual connection to some of you out there. For me, this is not about numbers, this is not about ratings, this is not about money, this is not about fame. This is certainly not about getting certain people's attention so they could say, oh, good job, Alex Ansari, you're a good truther. Let's have you on the show that reaches millions of people a day. I learn every day, baby steps, to be the best person that I can be. And that's not about the quantity. It is about the quality of the human experience that I am living. And ultimately, and I'll conclude with this whole experience is not so much about ending the New World Order, but becoming the conscious human beings that we're meant to be. and realizing the path to the ultimate truth still lies within. And I want to thank you for watching.